All right. Can anybody confirm if you guys can see the screen? I think so. Yes. Yes. Very nice. Okay. Okay. Okay, everybody. So let's start. Okay. So see, we completed this introduction to software testing principles, skills required for testing. We did an SDLC, we did an STLC. I will quickly talk about the STLC cycle. So first was the requirement analysis. Second was what was the second phase of the STLC was? First was the requirement analysis. Second was the test planning. Third was the test case development. Fourth was the setup of the test environment. Fifth was the test execution and defect logging. And last one was the test closure. Isn't it? Uh, Is that does that make sense? Okay. Hmm. Yes, it makes sense. Very good. Okay. Yes, so recordings are available for you, and you can just go through the recording sessions every day to just listen to what you might have missed. Okay, so you can just go and start looking at the reading, the listening the recordings, coming back to me and asking questions as well. So if we have missed anything, I will be happy to cover it again. Okay. Now I'm going to move on to the next topic, which is the types of software, which is the type of softwares, and then we will move on to the levels of software testing. I plan to complete this today, both of them, types of software testing and levels of software testing. Okay, types of software testing and level of software testing. Fine. We have a document for this. I will also share that. Yes, guys. So the recordings are available. We are in the process of publishing the link where you can get the recordings. So maybe in couple of days you will see that the recordings are available, and we will send you the link where you can go through the recording. So don't you worry, recordings will be available for everybody in couple of days to go and listen to the recordings. Okay. Now when we talk about the testing, we all know that in high level we have all have seen कि testing है manual testing है automation testing है. So at a higher level you can say, at a higher level we can say that there are mainly two types of testing, which is the manual and the automation testing. Now we are going to read manual and automation, how they are bifurcated, कि वो कैसे ये हुए हैं, मतलब कि उनका कैसे break down हुआ है. So we are going to read that. I'm going to share one this one. Are you guys able to see the PPT as well as the Word document? Isn't it? You are able to see both because I've just shared both the documents. I've just shared both. Okay, fantastic. So, yes, very good. So, I've shared both the documents for you. So, see, apart from this, there is this. Okay, there is we have this which I have already opened, and I want to show this one to everybody, which talks about types of software testing. I'll just make it little larger if anybody can see. This is basically on the high level that there are two types of software testing, like I said, manual and the automation. In manual we have again three types: white box, black box, gray box. And then again in this black box we have functional, non-functional, and again in the functional we have these testing, and in non-functional we have these testing. So right now we are going to cover all this. ऑटोमेशन टेस्टिंग से देखिए कोई भी एरो ऐसे निकल नहीं रहा है. So today we are going to cover all this entire part. We are going to cover this manual, we are going to cover white box, black box, gray box, functional, non-functional, and all the types of the functional and non-functional. We are going to cover all that. ठीक है? So for that because the content was too much, so we just made it this, that now if we know that the manual testing has three types mainly: white box, black box, and gray box. Now let's focus on the white box. So white box testing is also called a glass testing, glass box testing, structural testing, and what all testing? Transparent testing, open box testing, clear box testing, and these are all other names of white box testing. Why we called it as a white box? Because white box means transparent, means glass. So suppose if I am giving, and there is an input, right? Whenever you're going to test, you're going to give some input, you're going to perform some action, and then आपको कुछ output मिलेगा. White box testing में क्या रहता है ना, कि आपके पास ये एप्लीकेशन का कोड है और आपको वो भी देखना है. मतलब सपोज इफ आई एम वर्किंग ऑन एन वेबसाइट www.irctc.co.in गाइस, ठीक है, तो मैंने वहां पे क्लिक किया लॉगिन, मैंने वहां पे क्लिक किया लॉगिन, मैंने वहां पे क्लिक किया लॉगिन. अब मेरा लॉगिन पेज आया है, सो आई एम ओनली इंटरेस्टेड दैट आई शुड बी एबल टू लॉगिन. आई एम नॉट इंटरेस्टेड कि वो लॉगिन के पीछे का कोड क्या है. दैट इज नॉट माई forte of testing. Okay, so when we are not interested in knowing what is written inside the code, ठीक है, हमें ये मतलब नहीं है कि कोड में क्या लिखा है, हमको ये जानने में कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं है कि आपने कोडिंग कैसे किया. हम इंटरेस्टेड हैं उस चीज में कि हमारे पास, हम इंटरेस्टेड है उस चीज में गाइस कि हमें जो इनपुट चाहिए वो हमें मिल रहा है, हमें जो आउटपुट चाहिए वो हमें मिल रहा है कि नहीं मिल रहा है. सो व्हेन देयर इज एन application code visible, because this is white box, the name is because the application code is visible, that that is called as white box testing. And we do not do this testing. Why we do not do this testing? Because we are not the white box testers. We are not the white box testers. 90% of the time these type of testings are done by the developer ये वाली testing करते हैं because they know what is the source code. Coding कैसे की हुई है, coding कितने line की है, coding standards follow हुए हैं कि नहीं हुए हैं, ये सारी चीजें, the testing that needs to be done by the developer. Hence generally 90% of the times we do not do the white box testing, because white box testing means the testing of the code, which we cannot do it. So that is why this is called as white box testing. Fine. So what do we say? That in the code is noticeable for developers throughout the testing. That is why this process is known as white box testing. ठीक है, इसीलिए यहाँ पे आप देखिए, यहाँ पर ऐसा ऐसा एप्लीकेशन कोड का एक डायग्राम बना है, एंड व्हेन वी गो टू दिस ब्लैक बॉक्स, नो सेम डायग्राम इज देयर बट दिस इज अ ब्लैक. वी आर नॉट इंटरेस्टेड. इसके पीछे क्या है हमें मतलब नहीं है. हमने एक इनपुट दिया, कुछ कुछ काम हुआ, उस पर कुछ एक्शन हुआ और एक आउटपुट जनरेट हुआ, एंड वी आर पर्टिकुलरली इंटरेस्टेड इन दिस आउटपुट. दैट इज दिस आउटपुट एज पर द कस्टमर्स रिक्वायरमेंट इज व्हाट वी आर इंटरेस्टेड इन. Okay guys, so this is what we do in we do in the black box testing. Black box testing is a simple manual testing, which means that testing against the user requirement, testing against the user requirement. This is called as the black box testing, testing against the user requirement. And we are not interested that what is there in between this. We are not interested in what is there in between this. See, in other words, we can say that black box testing is the process. I'm just typing this. Black box testing is the process of checking that the functionality of an application is as per the customer requirement and the source code is not visible in this testing. That is why it is called as black box testing. वी आर नॉट इंटरेस्टेड कि उसके अंदर आपने कैसी कोडिंग की है. अगर मुझे लॉग इन करता है और मैंने अपना सही यूजर नेम और पासवर्ड दिया है, तो आई शुड बी लॉग्ड इन टू द सिस्टम, एंड व्हेन आई एंटर द पासवर्ड, मुझे पासवर्ड की जगह दैट पासवर्ड शुड बी encrypted. I should see some star, I should see some dot, where I some dotted something like that, and I should not see my original password. If I see that, that means for me it's a bug. As simple as that. मेरा requirement ये है, आपने उसको meet किया है, and that's it. That is why we are working on the black box testing. If we go into the testers profile, we will be called as the black box testers. ठीक है? ठीक है. Now the third testing was what? The third testing was this. See, the third, we did white box, we did black box, and we did gray box. Gray box is the mix of both. आप थोड़ा सा ब्लैक बॉक्स करिए, आप थोड़ा सा व्हाइट बॉक्स करिए, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज द ग्रे बॉक्स टेस्टिंग. ठीक है. सो व्हेन वी यू हाइब्रिड, ठीक है. सो व्हेन यू डू अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ व्हाइट बॉक्स एंड व्हेन यू डू, देयर आर टेस्टर्स हु देयर आर few testers, or there could be the testers who know some coding. So they should be able to go into the code, and then they should be able to read the basic things. उन्हें basic समझ में आता है. जैसे Python की language बहुत simple है, so there could be testers जिन्हें Python programming समझ आती होगी, तो they can go and see that. So they could be termed as the gray box testers. That हाँ, आप थोड़ा सा white box भी कर लेते हैं, आप थोड़ा सा black box भी कर लेते हैं. That is why they are called as the gray box testers. ठीक है. Now we are into this one. Now we did this white box, black. Now black box basically has two types. A black box is now divided into two types, which is called as functional, which is called as non-functional. You can be a functional tester, and you either can be a non-functional tester also, and you can also be an automation testers. Guys, testing is not that thing that okay, anybody can become any testers. There is a proper knowledge required, there is a proper understanding required for you to become a functional tester, to become a non-functional tester, plus to become an automation tester. Let me be clear that these three are not the same. आप फंक्शनल टेस्टर बनिए, आप ऑटोमेशन टेस्टर बनिए, आप नॉन फंक्शनल टेस्टर बनिए, आप परफॉर्मेंस टेस्टर बनिए, ये सारा अलग अलग टेस्टिंग टाइप्स है और अलग अलग टेस्टर्स होते हैं. All right, so we are going to learn the details. We are going to learn the details of all this. All right, so functional, non-functional, and automation testers. That what are the difference between all this? So now let's move on to the functional part. ठीक है, we are now moving into the functional part. हम functional में यहाँ हैं, ठीक है. Okay, this is my Word document. Why is it not opening? By the way, let me just open it again, guys. ठीक है. ये था, ठीक है. Sharing is there, right? Sharing is there for this Word document also, no? आपको इसकी शेयरिंग दिख रही है ना वर्ड डॉक्यूमेंट की? हाँ है ना, इसकी भी शेयरिंग है ना. यस, फैंटास्टिक. ठीक है, ठीक है. So now we are into this black box. Black box is now done, and black box has two types of testing. One is the functional testing and non-functional testing. Functional testing means when we are going to validate the functionality. When what we are going to do? When we are going to validate the functionality. Validate the functionality meaning what? That this was the customer's requirement and this is my application. Does this matches? ये हमारा कस्टमर का रिक्वायरमेंट था और ये हमारा पे क्या था, हमारा ये एक्चुअल सॉफ्टवेयर है, ये दोनों मैच कर रहा है कि नहीं कर रहा है. दिस इज व्हाट इज द फंक्शनल टेस्टिंग. सो बेसिकली गाइस, ब्लैक बॉक्स टेस्टिंग, फंक्शनल टेस्टिंग आर मोर और लेस द सेम. ठीक है. अब हम फंक्शनल टेस्टिंग में क्या करने वाले हैं? द टेस्ट इंजीनियर विल चेक ऑल द कंपोनेंट्स सिस्टमैटिकली अगेंस्ट रिक्वायरमेंट स्पेसिफिकेशन इज कॉल्ड द फंक्शनल टेस्टिंग. ठीक है, ठीक है. अब in the functional testing, all the components tested by the value, defining the output and validating the actual output with the expected value. Actual output with the expected value, it's a very important thing, and that is what is the core of our testing. कि हमेशा आपका काम क्या रहेगा? Actual value को compare करना है, compare it with the expected. अगर ये match करते हैं तो आपका टेस्ट पास है, अगर ये match नहीं करते हैं तो डिफेक्ट है. We are going to come into defect, but अगर ये अभी निकला है, so guys, simple definition of defect is what? When the actual result does not match the expected result, that is a defect in testing. So how do we know that? We will compare the actual value with the expected value. And how will you know the expected value? We will know the expected value from the requirements. How will you know the actual value? You will know the actual value with your application. What does the application throw at you? That will be your actual value. Okay, so these three things are important for you to know. All right, now we are going to understand types of functional testing. So this is the types of functional testing, matlab level. This is also called as a level. Level matlab सबसे पहले कहाँ से start होगा, कौन सी टेस्टिंग करेंगे आप, उसके बाद कौन सी टेस्टिंग करेंगे, फिर उसके बाद कौन सी टेस्टिंग करेंगे, फिर उसके बाद कौन सी टेस्टिंग करेंगे. It is something like a flooring, first floor, second floor, third floor, something like that. So what is the level that you are going to start with? Okay, you get an application, you get a website, and then you start the testing. So that is how we are going to do it. How we are going to do that? So unit. The word unit is what? Unit word अपने आप में उसका unit का मतलब क्या होता है? Single. What does unit means? Unit means single. One. When you are testing a one component, guys, when we are testing a one component, when we have a website. So I would have loved to explain the sessions. We have our own websites, but that covers into the that is into a live website demonstration that will come into the classes, which are the complete manual testing package. So what there we do is we have our own websites, and the people who practice testing there, as in they go into the website and see that, okay, this part is called unit, this part is called integration, and that's a kind of hands-on. Because this is an overview of 10 days of classes, we cannot go into that depth. So we are going to explain it like that, but otherwise we also we also explain to that level wherein you clearly know that you go into the website and understand and do yourself a unit kind of a testing and integration and the system and so on. So unit testing is testing one component. Testing one component means, suppose if there is a page and if there is a continuous continuity to that page. Suppose if you want to book a ticket, so there are 10 pages to that booking a ticket. There are 10 pages that you need to navigate through to book a ticket. So that first page, maybe you can call it as one unit. All right, so now you have tested that unit, guys. Okay, now what happens it, you have tested that. Now you go into the next unit and then you see, okay, anything that is more than one is called an integration. Integrated means anything that is when one or more pages or one or more components are integrated together, that is called as an integration testing. So now what happens is, unit testing is one. So generally unit testing is done by the developers. Why? Because we are not interested in doing a single thing. Suppose there is a login box. ओके, लॉगिन बॉक्स इज देयर, ठीक है, और आपके पास वो लॉगिन बॉक्स है और आपको उस पे यूजर नेम डालना है, तो आप सिर्फ डेवलपर्स क्या करेंगे, एक लॉगिन का बॉक्स बनाएंगे, फिर वो अपने लोकल पे टेस्ट करेंगे कि लॉगिन का बॉक्स बनाए कि नहीं अच्छे से. Then they will make a password box and then they will check, okay, this password box is working fine or not. Okay, and then they will see that, okay, now login is working, password is also working, and the login button is also working. So they are going to design individual units, test them, individual units, test them, design individual units and test them. So we do not do that. We want the entire system to us. We can't say that, okay, if the developers come up and say that, okay, we are deploying the login page of booking a ticket, will you do the testing? Testers will say no. We want the entire system to be delivered to us, to the testers or to the testing team, and then we will start the testing. You do your unit testing. मतलब आप एक छोटे छोटे components की testing करिए, आप उसको integrate करिए, आप देखिए कि उन दोनों में connectivity है या नहीं, and then give us the entire system. Okay, so unit testing is something which is tested individually. Integration testing is something that is tested in sync with one or two modules, in sync with one or two components. That is called as integration testing. When there is one page, when there is a second page, when there is a third page, and at the end of one page, अगर वहाँ पे continue लिखा है, फिर मैं continue करूँ तो मुझे वो second page पे लेके जाना चाहिए. ऐसा नहीं आना चाहिए कि page cannot be displayed. If this comes, then there has the integration testing has failed. आपने उसको अच्छे से इंटीग्रेट नहीं किया है. सो दीज टू आर जनरली डन बाय दी डेवलपर्स. इंटीग्रेशन में बहुत बार ऐसा होता है कि टेस्टर्स भी इंटीग्रेशन टेस्टिंग करते हैं, जहां पे दो तीन एप्लीकेशंस होते हैं ना अलग अलग. मान लीजिए एक कंपनी का ये एप्लीकेशन है, दूसरी कंपनी का वो एप्लीकेशन, और दोनों को कम्युनिकेट करना है, कोई एपीआई के थ्रू दोनों को कम्युनिकेट करना है, देन वी ऑल्सो डू एन इंटीग्रेशन टेस्टिंग. So far, is so far so clear? Am I audible, guys? uh, क्या क्या आप मुझे सभी अच्छे से सुन पा रहे हैं? Yes. Okay. Yes. So maybe please check your internet connection. Okay, because I think I am audible. Maybe you can restart your system, and if after that also if problem exists, please let me know. Okay. ठीक है? All right. So far, any questions in this unit testing, integration testing, or so? We will quickly move on to this because I plan to complete this entire unit integration, system testing, and so on, and this compatibility, performance, and usability testing. I want to complete this all. So if there is no question, we will move forward. Any question, guys? Yes, Malav, just type in your whatever questions you have. Please type in the chat box, and I will be happy to answer. Okay. I think I'm very much clear. Yes, so the recording is will be shared shortly. Like I said some time back, that we are into process of saving the recordings, and we will definitely send you the link. Okay, ठीक है? All right. Now let me go to the system testing. Now, so we have understood what is in unit testing. Now, system testing. System testing is something when we are done with the unit and integration testing, we will proceed with the system testing. It is also called an end-to-end testing. Meaning जब आपको पूरा system एक साथ test करने मिल रहा है, तब आप उसको क्या बोलिएगा? System testing. तब आप उसको क्या बोलेंगे? हम क्या बोलेंगे उसको? System testing means suppose if irctc.co.in is the website and that website is now deployed to the testing team before going live, और वो मार्केट में रिलीज करने से पहले हमारे पास आया टेस्ट करने के लिए, ठीक है? तो हम ना पूरा पूरा उसके रिक्वायरमेंट डॉक्यूमेंट आया होगा, उसमें लिखा होगा कि टिकट बुक हो जाना चाहिए अच्छे से, टिकट कैंसिल हो जाना चाहिए अच्छे से, होटल्स बुक हो जाने चाहिए अच्छे से, ये सारे। अगर किसी ने ऑप्शन सेलेक्ट किया है कि लोअर बर्थ नहीं मिल रहा है तो आगे नहीं बढ़े, वो फंक्शनैलिटी हमें टेस्ट करनी है। सो देयर विल बी समवेयर अराउंड 200 रिक्वायरमेंट्स मेंशन्ड इन दैट रिक्वायरमेंट डॉक्यूमेंट, और हमें वो सारा 200 रिक्वायरमेंट को एज अ सिस्टम टेस्टिंग करना है, एंड टू एंड टेस्ट करना है, मतलब राइट फ्रॉम द लॉगिन, इवन आई वुड से राइट फ्रॉम रजिस्टरिंग। if you do not have a login details or a login credentials for IRCTC, will you be able to book a ticket? No. You have to first register yourself. You have to be a user of IRCTC, and then only you'll be able to either book a ticket, either cancel a ticket, or raise whatever you want to do with that IRCTC, book a hotel or something. So that is called as system testing. When we are performing end-to-end tests, that is called as the system testing. Okay. Now the other type is here I did not mention, but then there is one more testing which is called as the UAT, which is called as the UAT, which is what? User acceptance testing. Okay, which is called as the user acceptance testing. Now this is also very important. Pay attention to user acceptance testing. Okay. All right, user acceptance testing. Now what happens is, suppose guys you are the client, ठीक है? आप client है और आपके पास एक team है, you have a team of 10 12 people, and then you have asked an IT, you have asked some IT company that you build a software for me. Okay, just try to understand the concept. I just want you people to understand the concept, because when you understand the concept you will be able to answer any questions. Like I said, in interviews, you're not people are not going to ask you direct questions. They are going to take you from here and there, and then you there they will test, they will try to judge, they will try to understand if the candidate knows the concept, and not and they have just not learned from some books, and they have come for the interview. ठीक है. आप user is acceptance testing क्या होता है कि when you are a client, suppose when you are the client, and then when you ask someone that okay, this is my requirement, मुझे एक ऐसा website चाहिए जहां से मैं ये खरीद सकूं, मैं ये बेच सकूं, something of that sort. Okay, a commercial e-commerce website which is into selling product business. ठीक है. Now you come to me and I am the IT, मैं IT कंपनी हूँ, मैं solutions बनाती हूँ, मैं services provide करती हूँ और मैं software develop करती हूँ. You come to me and you say that okay, I want something like this. आपके पास दिमाग में एक picture है, आपने वो draw किया, मुझे ऐसा ऐसा मिलता जुलता कुछ चाहिए. मैंने कहा कोई problem नहीं है sir, we will design it for you, we will develop it for you. Fine. So I develop it as per your requirement. I have my internal development team, I have my internal testing team, और मैंने सब कुछ कर दिया. मैंने मेरे डेवलपर्स ने यूनिट टेस्टिंग कर दी, इंटीग्रेशन टेस्टिंग कर दी, मेरे टेस्टर्स ने सिस्टम टेस्टिंग कर दी, सब कुछ हो गया. एंड देन आई कम टू यू एंड से कि सर योर सॉफ्टवेयर और योर एप्लीकेशन इज नाउ रेडी फॉर यू. नाउ नाउ एज अ कस्टमर, एज अ स्मार्ट कस्टमर, आप क्या करेंगे, उसको डायरेक्टली मार्केट में लाइव नहीं कर देंगे, आप उसकी खुद कुछ टेस्टिंग करेंगे कि ओके मैंने ये मांगा था और क्या मुझे ये सब कुछ मिला है, जस्ट टू बी डबल श्योर. That is called a user acceptance. This line, understand this line, this is acceptance, means user is accepting that software, the user is accepting that build. Okay, why that is very important? Because the intent of this testing is not to find defects. Like the intent of system testing or the intent of any testing is to find defects. But in UAT, the intent is to validate the requirement. अगर मैंने आपको बोला था कि ये वाला प्रोडक्ट मेरा इंडिया के बाहर भी बेच सकते हैं, इंडिया के बाहर भी मैं इसे सेल करूं, तो ये वाला फीचर आपने ऐड किया है, तो वो यूजर सिर्फ वो चेक करेगा, वो ये नहीं चेक करेगा कि वो नेगेटिव नहीं चेक करेगा. He will only try to do some few positive tests, because we have assured that we have done all the system testing. So he will pick up some 10 12 business test, that is called as the business test. What is that called? That is called as the business test. ठीक है. And then he will say कि yes, the system testing was very good, and now the business is very happy, सारे requirements cover हो गए हैं आपके, and then we are very good, and then now we plan to go live, because he is also now satisfied. The intent of testing is to first to have the quality product, and second is to have a customer satisfaction. And customer, by doing his own test, he will have that confidence, he will have that trust, and he will have that satisfaction in his mind that all the features which I wanted are already there and they are working as expected. Okay? That is called as the user acceptance testing, and that is done by the user. Sometimes guys, that is also done by the testers. They will be a different UAT testers. एक सिस्टम टेस्टिंग की टीम होगी जो अलग एंगल से टेस्टिंग करेगी, एक यूएटी की टीम होगी जो अलग एंगल से टेस्टिंग करेगी. फाइन. सो यूएटी विल बी मोर टुवर्ड्स द बिजनेस टेस्टिंग, वो बिजनेस के साथ बैठ के टेस्टिंग करेगा. सो दैट विल बी एज अ यूजर, दैट विल बी कॉल्ड एज द यूएटी टेस्टर्स. वी आर द सिस्टम टेस्टर्स. ठीक है. So that was the all types of functional testing. These are the all types of functional testing. ठीक है. Gray box we have already done. Now let's move on to the non-functional testing. Okay, non-functional testing is something where suppose if you want if everybody, I'm just asking this question to everybody, suppose if you want you have logged into IRCTC. Now you know that India's population is 125 crore, and if roughly, if I can say, more than 20-30 crore people would be using IRCTC. ठीक है, इतने सारे लोग IRCTC यूज करते होंगे. अब आप IRCTC से टिकट बुक कर लेते हैं, अच्छे से सब हो जाता है. वेरी गुड. नाउ do you think, just reply on the chat box. Okay guys, please listen to the question and reply on the chat box. I would like to know what do you think about this. Do you think that at same point of time, suppose if today, if now it is 7:40 p.m., do you think at a particular time, maybe 1 lakh users would have logged into IRCT simultaneously at the same time to book a ticket? आपको लगता है कैसी possibility हो सकती है? Yes. Anybody who says no, that इनकी possibility नहीं हो सकती है कि एक ही टाइम पे 1 लाख 10 लाख लोग IRCTC पे लॉग इन किए होंगे? What do you guys say? Yes or no? Do you think at the same time few lakh people would be logging into IRCTC? Yes. Yes. So I hardly see people saying no. Everybody has said yes, 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 and so on. So yes. So do you think कि IRCTC hang हो सकता है उस टाइम पे? अगर 1 करोड़ लोग किसी भी टाइम पे 1 करोड़ लोग किसी भी टाइम पे अगर वहां पर अगर कहीं कहीं पे कोई वेबसाइट पे लॉग इन किए हैं, तो डू यू गाइज थिंक दैट वो वाला वेबसाइट हैंग हो सकता है? यस, इट इज पॉसिबल. Yes, it is correct. Yes, it is possible. So now, do you think, guys, do you think that we need to also kind of see the performance of IRCTC with 1 crore users? जब मैं वो टेस्टिंग करूंगी, मेरे दिमाग में ये आएगा या नहीं आएगा कि हो सकता है ये इतना वाइडली यूज्ड एप्लीकेशन है इंडिया में, तो हो सकता है कि एक साथ 1 करोड़ लोग लॉग इन कर दिए, और अगर मेरा सर्वर की कैपेसिटी उतना लोड लेने की नहीं है, तब तो भले वो मेरा टिकट ही क्यों ना बुक कर रहा हो, लेकिन अगर वो पेज ही नहीं खुलेगा तो मैं टिकट क्या ही बुक करूंगी? How will I book the ticket if the page is not opening and there is a tremendous load on that application that 1 crore people are logging at the same time? So in that case, what do? We need to do the performances testing of that application. It depends on the application that what all application need performance testing. First criteria is the number of users. अगर मेरे number of users ही 500 हैं, तो I might go and I might not go for the performance testing. But if the volume is huge, then I must go for the performance testing, and that is called as the नॉन फंक्शनल टेस्टिंग. मतलब आप फंक्शनैलिटी नहीं चेक कर रहे कि मेरी टिकट बुक हो रही है कि नहीं हो रही. आप व्हाट आर यू चेकिंग? You are checking that at some point of time, is the application capable of taking the load? Isn't it? That booking ticket is secondary. Now I'm saying at the same time when I do this typing, login in the IRCTs, am I able to log in at 10 a.m. in the morning at the time of Tatkal ticket? Isn't it? So that is a part of your non-functional testing, wherein we talk about performance testing, stress testing, load testing. Okay, that is the performance testing, that you give the load to the application, and that is what is the performance testing. You can't ask 1 crore people to check. This is not a functional testing, this is a non-functional testing. You're not checking the functionality, you're checking the performance, which comes under the non-functional testing. Okay, so now you are not checking whether you are able to book a ticket or not. You're checking whether you are able to log in at that time, whether 1 crore users are able to log in at the same time and the application is capable of taking that load. That is a non-functional testing, and in particular that is the performance testing. Now you can ask me this question ki, ma'am, how is it possible that 1 crore people, we will ask 1 crore people to log in at the same time and do the testing? I'm talking about the testing, not the real world. So that is where we have this performance testers. So I said, right, so performance testers is altogether a different profile in testing. We call it as a performance tester, and they use tools. If in case you guys have heard about the load runner, that is a very popular and a known tool for doing performance test, that generates the dummy users, that generates the dummy load to test the performance of the application. ठीक है कि नहीं? Right, so that is called the performance testing, wherein you are testing what? You are testing stress, you are testing the load, you are testing the scalability. So these all things you are going to test. You keep on adding load, you keep on adding load. Abhi the 745 को मैंने 500 यूजर्स डाला, 746 को मैंने 1000 डाला, 750 को मैंने 2000 यूजर्स डाला. I keep on adding load till the time my application breaks. And then what conclusion I will say? That my application is capable of taking the load of 1 lakh people at the same time. Beyond 1 lakh, it might crash. This is my finding for the performance testing. I should be able to give that number कि कितना लोड ले सकता है मेरा एप्लीकेशन. ओके, तो मैंने चेक किया कि 1 लाख के बाद ये ब्रेक हो जाता है, लेकिन यार हमारी रिक्वायरमेंट तो 10 लाख की थी. नाउ व्हाट वी आर गोइंग टू डू, वी आर गोइंग टू अपग्रेड द सर्वर. We are now going to work on the non-functional upgradation. We are not going now. We are going to test the non-functional testing with the upgradation of servers and the other statistics. We are going to do that. Okay, so that is the non-functional testing. Now, another type of non-functional testing is the usability. Usability testing is what? How user friendly it is. Now, you guys tell me, when you log into IRCTC, do you think that you need a guide for that? No, right? We all log into that and then we just navigate it here because it is so user friendly. आपको पता है कि कैलेंडर है वहां पे, तो आप वहां डेट सेलेक्ट करेंगे. आपको पता है फ्रॉम की जगह फ्रॉम लिखे रहेंगे. फ्रॉम मतलब वो पूछ रहा है सोर्स, टू मतलब वो पूछ रहा है डेस्टिनेशन. सो यू जस्ट नो ऑल दिस बिकॉज दैट इज सो यूजर फ्रेंडली. So the application has to be user friendly. It cannot be complicated, otherwise people will find it difficult to use and they will lose interest, and very less user will use your application or software, reducing the number of users, meaning reducing the business. ठीक है, that is also a type of non functional testing, जहां पर आप user friendly है कि नहीं application वो test करते हैं. हाउ सिंपल इट इज टू यूज. कलर्स कौन से यूज किए हैं? ऐसे आंख में गड़ने वाले कलर्स यूज हुए हैं? इज इट वेरी गॉडी? इज इट समथिंग द फॉन्ट दैट यू आर नॉट एबल टू रीड इट? दैट इज नॉट यूजर फ्रेंडली. देन दिस इज कॉल्ड अ यूजेबिलिटी टेस्टिंग. Now the compatibility testing. So now your application, is it compatible in multiple browsers? क्या वो multiple browser support करता है? अगर मैं same IRCTC को say if I want to log in IRCTC through Firefox, is it allowing me to log in? If I'm using Chrome, is it allowing me to log in? If I'm using IE, is it allowing me to log in? So what is the compatibility between the browsers of that website? That is called the compatibility testing. So what we do is we test it in Windows 10, we test it in Firefox, we test it in Mozilla. So we test the same application in different browsers, and then we tell the findings. You know what, in Firefox it's not that good. Half of the page is not displayed properly, and it is that what conclusion will I take? That this is not compatible, this application is not compatible with Firefox. Means हम यूजर को जब रिलीज करेंगे, then we will say that kindly do not use it on Firefox. This application is only meant to use in IE or in Chrome. Isn't it? Agree? So this is called the compatibility testing. This is called what? Compatibility testing. ठीक है? Let me just look at the questions. Any questions, guys, so far? If you have any questions. Ma'am, do you also prepare for interviews? Yes, we do prepare for interviews, guys. We have a session, we have a 2 weeks class as an interview preparation classes, wherein we directly walk into mock interviews. We simply keep on conducting mock interviews till the time the candidate is confident. Yes, we do have that, and I take that classes. Functional and non-functional testers, testing performed by manual testers. It can be, it cannot be, because for performance, for non-functional or for performance testers, we need performance testers. I said there are three categories in testing high at a high level. One are the manual testers, other are the performance testers, another one is the automation testers. Manual testers typically do the manual testing. Performance testers typically do the non-functional and the performance testers testing, like testing the load, stress, and so on. And and then compatibility testing, they use some tools for the compatibility testing. Sometimes they do not use tools also. They can do it manually as well. What is black box testing? Is it that you want to ask? I do not understand the question. Black box testing. Black box testing is something that in that we do not see the source code. We only give an input and we are only interested in the output. And the CTC for the testers, guys. See, there is no limit for any CTC. Let me just explain the concept of CTC. This is a very vague term, and there's no typical answer for this. ठीक है, इसका कोई answer नहीं है. CTC will depend on how your interview is there, how did you give your interview, how is your negotiation skills, and how soon can you join, and sometimes your luck as well. Okay, so and it of course will depend upon the experience, no. So there is a lot of factors that's going to decide the CTC for a tester. आप एक रेंज नहीं है. ये नहीं है कि मैं बोलूं कि इतना CTC आपको मिलेगा. No, this is not. It will. So suppose if there are 25 candidates appearing for an interview and 5 have got selected, the salary or the CTC will be very different for all of them. Why? बिकॉज किसी का एक्सपीरियंस अच्छा होगा, किसी ने बहुत अच्छा इंटरव्यू दिया होगा, किसी का कम्युनिकेशन स्किल बहुत अच्छा होगा. प्लीज कीप इन माइंड कम्युनिकेशन एंड क्लैरिटी ऑफ योर आंसर्स प्लेज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल इन एन इंटरव्यू. वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल. कभी आपको एक आध क्वेश्चन नहीं आता है, बट योर कम्युनिकेशन इज गुड, योर क्लैरिटी ऑफ आंसर्स आर गुड, देन यू विल बी सिलेक्टेड. ठीक है. So that plays a major role in you getting selected for the job and getting a CTC. How your negotiation skills are, how confident you look. Fine. And of course, at the end, and your skills. So there's no answer that what is the highest CTC for a tester, ma'am. Okay. So the thing that I want everybody here who's attending the class to focus on building their skills and not worry about the CTC, and think the time you build your skills, the time you build the knowledge, there is no looking back. So I would simply suggest, advise the candidates who are taking the classes to focus on the learning, to upgrading themselves, to building their skills, to taking as much classes as possible, to sticking to a mentor. In life, a mentor is very, very important. That's going to build you and your skills. ठीक है. So that is very very important to have it. So we are done with today's class. So we have done this also. We have done the levels of testing that I said. Unit testing done by developers, integration testing done by testers and developers, system testing done by testers, acceptance testing, which is UAT, done by the end users. Done by the end users. So we wanted to study what all today. We had planned that we are going to study types of software testing and levels of software testing, which we have completed today. Tomorrow we are going to learn. I have already explained SDLC. So SDLC में ना दो models है हमारे पास, a waterfall and a VNV model. We are going to study that tomorrow. We are going to study all that tomorrow. ठीक है. ठीक है, guys. What all questions you have? Recordings, yes, recordings will be available for everybody. Don't worry. All right. So everybody, let's meet tomorrow at the same time. Please be if anybody wants, they can just have a look at waterfall model and V model, and just do a little bit of homework by going through this all, and then we can discuss more on this tomorrow. ठीक है? All right, everybody, have a nice rest of the day. Have a nice evening. Take care of yourself and see you tomorrow at the same time. Bye bye.